ladies and gentlemen, the 2025 Esports World Cup, specifically the chess portion, is over. We have a champion, we have a runner-up, we have a third and fourth place, and I will be sharing everything that happened with you in this video. First, we're going to kick things off with Hikaru Nakamura versus Arjun Erigaisi, and then we will go to Magnus Carlsen versus Magnus Firouzja. That's all I have to say. An incredible event, an incredible spectacle. First time chess was included at the Esports World Cup. I believe this is the second year it's been going down in Riyadh. Yeah, just a really an amazing display of chess, nerves, everything else, live spectators, live audience, and I will share some final thoughts at the end of the video. Okay. Arjun Erigaisi, Hikaru Nakamura. I'll put a timestamp if you want to jump ahead to Magnus Carlsen, Magnus Firouzja. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Arjun opened with d4, and Hikaru played this pet line that he's been playing. He's been playing this mirror image Queen's Gambit declined. I cannot say I recommend this to you. I know Hikaru is playing this all the time, and you want to be like Hikaru, don't we all? But this is a very, very dangerous system. It's very, very tricky to handle. Not easy at all. Pawn takes d5. Queen takes d5, okay? Knight to f3. Pawn takes d4. And we have this line where Erigaisi has two very powerful pieces in the center of the board. Now, both guys are not thinking in the early game. As you can see from Erigaisi, he's clearly quite familiar with this position, and he plays this type of a setup, and he plays bishop d3. He hasn't really thought at all. Now, here, black should play rook to d8, pinning the bishop to the queen. Erigaisi's obviously done his homework. He expected that Hikaru would play this. Hikaru probably thought he's going to expect that I play, he's not going to prepare this because I played it so much. He's going to expect that, like, I'm not going to play it again. I don't know. A lot of different mind games. But ultimately, he goes here, and that's a mistake. And the reason why this move is a mistake is because Erigaisi can jump the knight into c5 by taking on f6, and that is exactly what he does. Hikaru makes another inaccuracy, and before you know it, Arjun has an amazing position with both attacking possibilities, infiltration possibilities on d6 and b7, and black is probably just going to go down material. As you see, Hikaru trying to defend himself. He's probably the best defensive player in the world, but Erigaisi lands a ghost move. You cannot take this because I would sack my bishop and win this queen, and he's just crushing. Plays bishop c4, b4, amazing position. All of Hikaru's pieces are on the back rank while this bishop is not doing a particularly impressive job. Arjun jumps into the position, picks up the pawn over here, and he is completely winning in this endgame. Why is he completely winning? Because of his pawns. In fact, they are so strong, he can literally sacrifice an entire bishop, but win. Because this bishop is not getting over here to stop anything. Black can defend, which he does, but literally you have enough time to play a4, a5, a6. a4 played, and Hikaru literally resigns the game in this position. I don't know why I said literally resigns. I don't know why I said that. I sound like a teenager. But the point is very simple. It's just this. You just win the game. Nothing black can do. So when Arjun started like that, and then they drew the next game, I was like, wow. I mean, you expect Hikaru to win third. If he's going to lose to Magnus, he's still going to win the third place match. Well, the next time they play, he plays Queen's Gambit declined. He says, all right, young man, we are going to turn back the clock to the times of the classics. Knight c3, bishop e7. We're going to play an exchange. Queen's Gambit declined with c6. This is ancient history in the world of chess. All right, this type of stuff. Now, e3. Okay, bishop f5, knight e2, all normal. And then here, a move that Arjun doesn't ever need a second invitation to play is the move h4, h5. In this particular position, it loses a pawn, but it's still the computer's top choice. Arjun, though, he doesn't do that. He plays here. And already at this point, the commentators were like, wait a minute, Arjun is definitely not feeling himself if he's not playing the move h4. All right, he's trying to be a little bit more cautious. And he still goes knight h5 and tries to create an attack. We're going to see that. He brings the queen back to d1 to try to put it on c2 and stabilize the middle. But Hikaru in this game is actually the one pushing the pace with moves like knight to e4. Arjun rebounds and castles long, queen e7. Hikaru also castles long. If you've been following the tournament, you saw that Magnus Carlsen won a game yesterday against Nihal Sarin that was very, very impressive. In this game, we see Arjun trying to take the fight to Hikaru. Hikaru playing good defense, knight c8, b6. White is better if white plays knight a2, knight b4. Arjun, though, focusing on the middle. Queen d7, 4 minutes per player. G4, all the best moves, putting a lot of pressure. G5, knight back to E8. It's been a game of Hikaru's pieces going backwards and then coming forward again. Knight A4 is wrong. Again, knight A2 is the idea, to put the knight on B4 and target the pawn on C6. And very quickly, Hikaru turns the game around. Knight is on B5, and now he is fighting for the initiative. He goes to H3. Pawn takes B5. Very, very messy and complicated position as Hikaru's trying to trade the queen offs with a 40-second time advantage. And ultimately, we get to an equal game. But Arjun goes all in here. He plays knight C6, knight back to B4, and his idea is to go in with his rook and his knight and win the game. H4. He goes in with the rook. First knight D4 to defend. Rook F7, H3. Arjun's idea is to win the game, even though Hikaru can promote, because the white king is safe. But here's the problem with Arjun's idea. It looks like he wins, but the queen is in time to go to the 8th rank, stop checkmate while being defended, and Hikaru saves the game, and not just saves, he wins. Because knight F5, knight E7, and he is simply up a rook. Hikaru strikes back with the black pieces. It is a tied match. Now, very next game, Hikaru looking to build a little bit of momentum. He's been playing a lot of this kind of Catalan type of stuff. Erigaisi playing very professionally, knight E5, pawn takes C4. This line has been seen many, many times. Hikaru going for chill type of play. He's looking for a position where Erigaisi is not going to be able to pop off with the initiative like he always does. Rook D1, you know. And yeah, Erigaisi looked to pick a fight in this game. He played a lot of kind of cagey moves, inviting Hikaru in. But Hikaru did come into the position. Now, this was not, I mean, this was just the beginning. The type of chess, the brand of chess that Erigaisi plays always leads to winning chances for him and his opponent. Very risky business. He's going to lose a rook. He ends up losing a rook. Hikaru is up a rook for a bishop, but there are some pawns in black's territory. Well, Hikaru gets a winning advantage, but then the plan that he chooses to win the pawn back is incorrect as Erigaisi creates counterplay with his rook. Again, 4 minutes per player, anything can happen. Hikaru looking for a chance to win. Arjun somehow coordinating his pieces beautifully in the endgame. Rook, bishop, knight, all in the middle of the board. Okay, Hikaru's going to get some more chances, of course, because ultimately he is winning, and the time is low. Knight c5 now instead of this move. Now 2 minutes on the clock. Hikaru just putting clock pressure. 48 seconds. Every move is being played within a second or two. Literally, nobody's even thinking anymore. Arjun goes for counterplay. It's the best position that he's had the entire game, but he has 46 seconds on the clock. Hikaru has double his time. And what's going to ultimately happen is you're going to blunder. And he does. He makes a mistake. He's going to lose one of the pawns. Now Hikaru's got millions of winning chances. And also, Arjun's just down a minute. I mean, you're not going to survive this game down a minute. It is the Esports World Cup. And even though you can create as much counterplay as you'd like, at some point your fire will run out. And Hikaru Nakamura takes the lead in the match. All right? Looking to clinch it now with the black pieces. That is the idea. Okay. Arjun, Queen's Gambit declined, plays e3, b3. He's like, all right, Hikaru, no fun. You're not going to get to play any prep. We're just going to play a nice and straightforward and simple game. Bishop d3, bishop d6. Okay. You know, again, Hikaru needs to win with black to get third place. Arjun needs to win with white to clinch another game that will decide third place. f5 is very aggressive. e4 now, very nice move. Arjun finds it instantly. He's playing on pure initiative. I mean, Erigaisi has an amazing style of chess. Like, he sniffs initiative, right? Rook d1, not the best move, but a move. King h8 is wrong, and now Arjun's just going to rip open the middle and go for it. He's up nearly 2 minutes on the clock, and his advantage in this game is going to balloon. Hikaru goes for complications, sacrifices the knight on the f2 square to get in the queen over here. Now the white king is exposed, but he's going to try to run away. Queen h3, king e2, there it is. Now the king can keep running, or you can block with the queen. He does block with the queen. This is the biggest advantage that he's had in the entire game. And he's got a nearly 2 minute clock advantage. Hikaru's still trying. And now here, Erigaisi has to finally complete the journey. King d2, king c1. Erigaisi goes here. His idea is to sneak the king behind. But bishop b4 wins the match for Hikaru. It attacks the rook. And white doesn't have a comfortable move. You play bishop b4 first. And then the attack against the king is simply imminent. But Hikaru goes rook f2. He misses the power of bishop to b4, and now Erigaisi regains his lead on time. Sorry, in the position, he maintains his lead on time. The king makes a full journey. The knight saves itself. Hikaru resigns, and now we go down to game 6. 2.5, 2.5. Hikaru has the white pieces, opens with d4. d5, Queen's Gambit. We've had a million Queen's Gambit. It's the same opening. Hikaru's like, hey, you beat me with it? I'm going to use it against you. Castle, c5, all normal. Hikaru trades down the middle. No tension at all in the position. Very simple game of chess. This is exactly what a chess game should look like. If you're watching this as a beginner, this is exactly what it should be. a6, knight h4. To play against an isolated pawn, you want to trade some of the pieces. This is an IQP. That's why we play knight h4, and we trade the bishop. Or we play bishop f3. Hikaru trades, simple game. Target the pawn. Black either has to shove it forward or defend it awkwardly with the knight. He goes to defend it awkwardly. Rook c1. Easy peasy. I mean, this is a nice position. Now, bishop takes a3, and e4 is very powerful, although it's very counterintuitive to trade your isolated pawn and put some pressure. But Hikaru trades the bishop and is like, I'm just going to keep improving. Rook c1, knight c6, but if black is able to use the isolated pawn, not trade all his pieces, he's going to have a great time. And guess what? He's about to start having a great time. Hikaru does not put the pressure on the right way, and this series of moves doesn't lend itself to playing against the IQP. 530, 540. That's the time. Arjun plays g5. Crazy. He's going for a kingside attack. Knight e5, g4. Out of nowhere, Erigaisi has done what he always does. He conjures up an attack like a magician. Knight takes. Hikaru gets rid of the knight. g3. Now, d4 here is lethal. Erigaisi plays queen g5. He's looking to checkmate Hikaru. Position now hovers around equality. There is like $30,000 on the line in this game, and the third place finish. Pawn takes, rook takes. It's an endgame. 335, Hikaru has a 1 minute time advantage. Can he pull it off? Knight e5, rook c7, pressure on the 7th rank, practical chances in the endgame. Hikaru's a pawn up. Erigaisi plays f6. He probably could have brought in the rook here with rook to e2, but rook d6 kicks out the knight, and Hikaru's running away with the a-pawn. 250 to 206. That's what it comes down to. Rook a5, knight f4. It's a draw, but one guy is up 30 seconds on the clock. Knight to d5, looking for chances against the king. You're still looking for complications. Knight to e6, how do you defend the pawn? You got to move here. Now I'm checking you. Now I'm threatening the pawn. Now you have to give up the pawn. Hikaru's a pawn up. Black has enough counterplay to claim that this position is a draw, but Hikaru maintains a 30-second lead on time. Arjun has to trade off all the pieces and then draw the pawn endgame down. He's simply running out of time. 16 seconds, though. Knight f5, rook d2 check. King e3, the king runs out. King c4, king b5. We're now 60 moves into the game. Erigaisi's within 11 seconds of Hikaru. Knight d6, king c6, king b5. We're running around the board 35 to 25. Pressure still, uh-oh. You gotta come back. Now I play rook d5. Oh my goodness, 29 to 19, but Hikaru's not letting up. The pressure is relentless, absolutely lethal. Rook to d5, king h6 is a mistake. King b5 now wins for white, but he doesn't see it because he's moving instantly. Rook d5, but now he finds it. He sets the trap in the time trouble. Rook d6, the knight is lost. You win it. You pick up the material. The game is over. You win the pawn 13 to 7. It doesn't matter anymore. And Arjun Erigaisi resigns and Hikaru clinches game 6 and wins the third place prize of $145,000, I believe, which is really not too bad. I got to tell you. In case anybody's wondering, 145K, not too bad. Hikaru, the bronze medalist. Arjun Erigaisi finishes in 4th place. And now we go to the finals. Now the finals are played in 3 sets. Game, set of 4, and if necessary, the final set. Magnus versus Firouzja. They played against each other in a final 11 months ago in Paris, France. Now they play a final against each other in a slightly longer time control in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia. It's clear that these guys are going to be facing each other quite a bit. And it's really just a shame that in the world of chess, we don't see the best matchups all the time in every tournament because players don't play in all the tournaments because there's no clear schedule and the prizes are lacking and the sponsors aren't there. And the pressure to play in the candidates tournament where you try to play for a world championship once every 2 years is probably outdated and doesn't make sense in the modern era. But that is besides the point. And we get into Carlsen versus Alireza Firouzja. Firouzja was beaten soundly in Paris, France in the final. I am always cheering for him and frankly anybody to take on Magnus and put up a monster fight. Knight c6 from Alireza. Pawn takes c4. Magnus playing queen a4, e5, very emphatic move in the middle of the board, knight to b4. Let's see what kind of form the players are going to be in. Is Magnus going to be playing quickly? Is Firouzja going to be playing slowly and trying to win in time pressure? All right? This is typical Magnus stuff. Look at this. Queenside pressure, very nice. Bishop c5, queen b4. It's a nasty position to get yourself into, if you're playing against Magnus. And at some point, he's going to break in. He does break in. You got to be really precise now with black. Queen f3, he takes. Knight e5, do you take the pawn on c3? He does. It's equal. What do you play now? I'll tell you what you don't play. This. You know why? Ghost move. Knight b8. What a move. This looks impossible because it's covered twice, but you can't take it. You can't take it because your king is mated, which means the rook just dies. Magnus breaks in the middle of the night, puts a pillow over the rook's mouth, and that's the end. Mafia style. I mean, is there a Norwegian mafia? Have no idea and don't want to find out. Probably all wear Viking helmets. Look at this. Just, I mean, this is ruthless. And that's the end of the game. Alireza tries, he can't take the queen. He would have lost the game. Magnus, look, just completely methodical. He goes to win this pawn. And the way you win, rook versus knight is a draw, by the way, in case you didn't know. You guys would figure out a way to lose it, even with the rook, which is impossible. But you'd find a way to get yourself checkmated, probably. But yes, but with pawns on the board, no, it's a win. It's a win because you get very active with your king. You stop black from having any moves like this. And Firouzja just resigns, but the point is that, you would advance your pawns in a way that you stuff black to the back rank, and then win one of the pawns, and then, or maybe win the knight and then win the game. When I saw this, I was like, oh, it's going to be easy series. I mean, this is the form that Magnus is in, right? Like, you play Catalan, and then, the guy, you put some pressure, and then you find freaking knight b8, 97% accuracy win. Of course, it's going to be easy peasy. Now, Firouzja drew the next two games. So in the fourth game, he can clinch an Armageddon in set one. All right. He has the white pieces, e4, e5. We have an Italian. Magnus playing knight f6 and this line h6. He knows Firouzja likes to put the bishop on g5. So he's specifically playing openings against what Firouzja likes to do. Firouzja likes to put the bishop here and then induce h6, g5. But now he can't do that. So he goes here. Typical stuff. Castles, castles. Right. And now Firouzja's going to try to win in Italian. All right. h3, bishop a7, rook e1. Slow game, slow maneuvering, typical Italian stuff, knight to g3. Magnus going for counterplay in the middle of the board. Alireza takes. The pawn on e5 is hanging, but taking it is too risky because the pawn on c3 is hanging, so you defend it. Rook e8, queen c2, all normal. Now here you're like, wait a minute. Look at the time. Magnus is playing 3 and almost a quarter minutes up on Firouzja. He's just trusting himself a little bit faster. Rook a d1, queen c7. Firouzja's generating very good play, but he has 4 minutes on the clock. Knight f4. Firouzja's playing very well. Everything he's doing makes a lot of sense. Blocking out the dark squared bishop, trying to trade the light squared bishop, trying to advance in the middle of the board. But he has 3:29. He's down 4 minutes on the clock. He's got to pick up the pace. a5, looking to mess with the pawns. d4, a counterattack. But the thing is, when you get low on time and you want to make the position complicated, you're playing into the guy's hands who is better at making the position more controlled. If that makes sense, you're getting a little bit desperate, and maybe you can muddy the waters, but not against Magnus. Rook d8, he's trying to be extra careful, right? Extra careful. Rook d7, solid. You're still down 2 minutes. It's impressive he's cut the lead from 4 to 2, by the way. Just quick side note. It's amazing he's rattling off these moves, but you're going to blunder. Bishop f2. If you take knight to d3 check, defended by the rook, then the queen hits the knight. Alireza goes here. Queen g3, the white king hunted out into the middle of the board, and queen f2 is mate on the board, and Alireza loses the first set 3-1. 2 draws, 2 losses. 2 draws, 2 wins for Magnus. It's over. I mean, if Magnus is showing up and winning back to... both his wins were above 96%. Alireza and he can probably get Hikaru. They can probably play on the same team. I'm not sure it's going to help. Like, I'm serious. Like, when the best player in the world is playing in his best form, ain't nobody winning. So we go to the second set, right? Keep in mind, they play another 4. So Alireza now has to win this set to force set 3. D4. G3. Okay, Alireza's like, I'm playing Catalan. That's what I'm going to do. C5. CD. And Alireza played like this against Hikaru. Now, this is really funny. H6, B3, H5 is a real line. It looks like Magnus Carlsen completely forgot how to play chess. Looks like Magnus went to the toilet in the halftime show and somebody hit him over the head. Like, what is H6, H5? I promise it's a real thing. The point is that white wants to take here, that would lose control of H4, and then black would actually start an attack. There is no need to play like this. There is no need. But Magnus wants to have an exciting fight against his opponent. C3 is a gambit. You kind of hope your opponent takes. No. Magnus is like, we're not doing that. I'm just going to play a normal, dynamic game. Black is slightly better from the opening, but it's still a fight. Knight A4. But Magnus he's just getting the better of these positions. It's like, man, like this is really, really impressive stuff. Knight back to f3. Knight f6. He's playing in a way that's saying, yo, you have to beat me. And you're not able to do that. Bishop f5, queen d2, completely symmetrical pawn structure. Firouzja doing his best, knight c5, but look at the time. Look at the time. 2.5 minutes. Again, disadvantage. Rook c8. How are you going to overtake Magnus on the same side of the board, right? He plays b6. You can't even take the knight. He has to go back. Queen d7 is the best move. And Alireza is being pushed back from the position. He tries to go forward. Now the best move for black is to play knight to e4, knight to b7 anyway. Magnus Carlsen is up 4 minutes and 40 seconds. This is simply an unsustainable strategy if you are trying to beat him. He's playing the game. Queen c2 it's -3. It's just a matter of time now. Okay, he plays knight f8. I mean, it doesn't really matter. White doesn't have enough time. He's going to lose no matter what he does. Bishop to g6. This is crazy stuff. Magnus is going to regain a massive advantage here. g5, rook c3. Alireza has 57 seconds to 5 minutes. One guy used 50% of his time. The other guy used 90. g5, absolutely ruthless. Pawn takes. Pawn takes. But Magnus makes a mistake. And Alireza plays rook e2. Tricky little move. Now the queen has to move and you lose a piece. 24 to 436. Magnus thinks for a minute and sacrifices his queen. And plays rook c2, takes, and is like, Alireza has 23 seconds. There is no chance this man is going to beat me. There's no way. d5. Can't take. g4. Bishop g2 back. Pawn takes. Bishop takes. Knight f6. Move the bishop. Rook comes in. In comes the queen. 16 seconds on the clock. Alireza plays queen b7. Alireza takes the pawn on b6. Now he has to run away from the checks. The king goes to the middle of the board. Rook to h2. Queen c5. The pawn's promoting. 12 seconds on the clock for white. h4. b6. h6. b7. g2. He sacks the bishop and he plays b8. He has 8.9 seconds. And in this position, trying to play in the flow and not just get mated, because queen g5 is literally mate in a couple of moves. Queen f8, mate in a couple of moves. Magnus Carlsen loses his rook. And 8.2 on the clock remaining. You gotta go back, but you're completely paralyzed. And Magnus resigns because he doesn't have a move. Firouzja's gonna go here, take the knight, and get to his king, and it's completely forced. 2 queens on the board in the Esports World Cup. This is an unfathomable throw. I mean, this man threw like a closer in the Major League Baseball, 105 mile an hour fastball. Like, oh my goodness. My goodness. Alireza clutching up to find rook e2 with 24 seconds on the clock is unfathomable, and he leads the second set. This is crazy. This dude is so fast. Look at what he's capable of. When he just plays a little faster, just trusts himself. Oh my goodness, it was over. It was completely over. And now Firouzja has a chance to do the impossible. Magnus has to play d4. He's got to be tilted from that. Slav defense chosen by Firouzja, who leads 1-0 in the second set. Forget the first set. It's game on now. g3, b5. He goes for kind of a Hikaru approach. Bishop b7, knight e5, b3. And this is a line where black gets all these pawns to come forward, but they're kind of useless. And white now is going to target them throughout the game with moves like a3. a5 chosen from Firouzja, who must be feeling absolutely on top of the world. I mean, seriously. Uh-oh. 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 Now Magnus has exactly the kind of position that he likes. And even though Firouzja is 2 pawns up, it's actually white's position that is better than black. h3, the queen's got to skedaddle. You play queen b4, the other pawn's going to collapse, which is not even the best move. But now white is just, I mean, this is not what we wanted. Knight bd7, you are not going to build initiative like this. And from 2 pawns up to 1 pawn down we go. Queen f4. If you take the pawn on c5, I will take the knight. Then I will go here. If you take the bishop on e3, then I have queen b8, knight d8, queen b8, knight b8, rook d8 mate. So every piece staring at every other piece. The only move to survive is e5. Queen g4, not the best line, but look at the clock. It's been a recurring story. One guy's managing his time better, 315 to 139. Remember how Hikaru beat Aragaisi to literally clinch third place in the entire tournament? This is exactly how Magnus is going to try to win this game. He's just going to put clock pressure. It's a nightmare position to defend. Look, 17 seconds go down on the clock to make any move here. King f3, e3, king g4. Firouzja, one of the best players in the world, but if one of the best players in the world can't make a move, I don't know what you're supposed to do. Look at Black's pieces. Locked away in a box. f5 check, he tries for some counterplay, but he's running out of time. Knight to e4, rook e6. Magnus just making threats. He's making threats and playing tennis. That's what he's doing. Paddle, because he really likes paddle. Me too, by the way. Pawn takes, pawn takes. Rook f8, rook e6. Firouzja's down to 19 seconds. He finally loses a pawn under the pressure. It's an equal game. It's an equal game until it's not. Rook h7, because of time. Rook here, knight f6. Game over. Magnus strikes back. Magnus strikes back. Firouzja has to reset. He plays d4. Knight f6. c5. b5. Goes for some odd type of play on the left side of the board there. Bishop g2. d6. Nice and solid. It's a position of fianchettos all over the board. He plays a5 to try to take some space away, but it ends up maybe coming back to hurt him. It could be a long-term liability, but whatever. That's not going to decide the game. But look at the time. We're not even 9 moves into this game, and Magnus already has a 1 minute and 15-second time advantage. Crazy. Knight to f4. g5, well-timed, out of nowhere. A pawn pushed on the right side of the board in front of the king. The knight has to skedaddle, and Magnus just simply wins a pawn. And this is tilt. This is tilt. This is tilt. This is what it is. Because now you are simply a pawn down. Knight c4, Magnus gets the rook out of the way. 2-minute advantage now for Black. He plays f6. Very frustrating position. Alireza tries to go for counterplay. Magnus shutting that down completely. Playing like a, like a snake that just squeezes the life out of you. Knight to c3, knight f4. There's tactics all over the place, but Magnus just builds up this pawn wall on the dark squares. Then the second knight is coming in, by the way. It will come in whenever it wants. Like right now, look at the time. I've been saying this throughout, but the time has been the biggest story. Alireza, after winning that first game and then probably losing the second one, just simply lost the momentum here in game number 3. And this is a dream position for Magnus. And look at that, he wins the pawn. If that pawn was on a4, there would have been some stability, but the pawn's not on a4, and Magnus wins the pawn. He now has a 2-pawn advantage and a 3-minute time advantage. 2.5, nearly 3. c4, great move, ruthless. Space advantage being capitalized, and these pawns are just coming in. King h8, bishop e6. Alireza had some momentum after winning the first game, but after losing the second one, Magnus plays a completely clinical game, picks up the queen, another game where throughout he had a 2 to 3 minute time advantage, and he just made it look easy. And that puts us in a potential knockout situation. Alireza Firouzja must win this game to force an Armageddon, to then try to beat Magnus in the Armageddon to force another set. Magnus plays e4. Alireza plays the opening you gotta play to try to play for a win. Magnus plays the Alpen. You gotta play an opening where you take no risk, put all the pressure on the opponent to try to win the game. You play c3, you play an Alpen. Knight to f6, e5. This is all normal stuff. b6, Firouzja deliberately plays some ridiculous move because he simply cannot play. He can't play a solid main line because white will kill the game. Magnus is threatening to kill off the game. But Firouzja actually gets a fantastic little position. Bishop g7. His pawns are a little weird. And now Magnus trying to play very aggressive chess. He's not trying to play for a draw. Firouzja h5, knight c7. This is Black is slightly better according to Stockfish, actually. This is a nightmare situation for a person that's trying to just not lose, right? Magnus, b4. Well, Alireza is also trying not to lose. Sorry, bishop d3 follows up b4. Great position for Black. And now, this is hanging. Why is it hanging? Well, if you take with the bishop, I have bishop takes f3. Right? Knight takes e5, knight e5, bishop e5, bishop f3. There's also knight e5, pawn to d6 with a skewer. Alireza Firouzja can play knight takes e5 and take over the game. But he spends 2 minutes and either doesn't see it or doesn't like it. Misses something, plays pawn to d6, Magnus immediately pins that knight to the bishop, castles the king, and the chances for black are gone, and he once again has a near 3-minute time disadvantage. Alireza is trying to do his absolute best, but Magnus trades off the material. Pieces are about to fly off the board. The bishop is going to fly off the board, the knight is going to fly off the board, the queen is going to fly off the board, rook c8, rook c1, Magnus just keeping it uber solid, 3-minute time advantage. Alireza's got to do something. He jumps the knight in. Magnus immediately cuts the connection between the knight and the queen. Alireza plays bishop takes. Magnus grabs the knight. His left side pawn structure completely intact. 3-2 is going to be a big problem for black in all endgames. Bishop goes back to b7, queen e3, and suddenly here come the rooks. And at this point, Magnus knew. He knew. The black queen is stranded in the middle of the board. If it goes to f6, there is a fork. If it goes to e7 or c7, there are rook moves and discovered attacks with the knight. He looked at the crowd and he started smiling. Firouzja goes here. You have to give up the fork. You are simply losing now. It's not even a matter of holding a draw or surviving. 2:18 on the clock to 5:41. Magnus bringing the c-pawn down the board. He's just got to get that bishop out of the way. And once he does, he's going to promote rook c8, pawn to c6. Alireza Firouzja resigns. Magnus Carlsen, despite losing the first game of set 2, storms back to 3 straight victories and wins the Esports World Cup, the first place prize $250,000. Alireza Firouzja coming in second place, which is 190. Not too bad. 190K, 145, 115 for Arjun. Everybody who finished 5th got 85. 1.5 million total in prizes. Really a spectacle of an event. Honestly, you know, Magnus, if he's playing in the tournament, he's the guy to beat. And today he was beaten one time, but he did a lot more of the winning. He was brought to the brink. And I mean, it's really crazy because the final was in the semifinals. An Armageddon best of 7. The amount of times that these guys over the last 5 years have had to play Armageddon against each other, have had matches between Magnus and Hikaru that come down to like 2 games. It's so close. Firouzja coming up short, back-to-back finals in high-stakes events in the 2024 Speed Chess Championship, in the 2025 Esports World Cup. We don't see Firouzja play enough. He's one of the best players in the world. He's clearly the top 3 in the world in Rapid and Blitz. Clearly, but we don't see him play a lot. And it's a shame. It sucks. It's really sad. And I'm going to share, you know, a video in a day or two just about everything, about the world of chess as it is right now, about FIDE, about the freestyle thing in Vegas, about the Esports World Cup. Just kind of my thoughts. But yeah, it's over. Magnus Carlsen is the champion. Let me know in the comments how you enjoyed the event. For me, it was great. I really enjoyed watching it, listening to it as I was like running or walking outside or getting some work done. It was... or watching on the TV. It was awesome. Congrats to everybody who played, who qualified, who made it, who didn't make it. Congrats to Team Liquid. Congrats to the Falcons. And you know what to do. Get out of here. But first, it's August 1st. New Chessly Monthly Challenge. Go study some chess. Go improve your elo. Go get the August badge. That's all I have for you today. Get out of here.